Good morning. My name's Ryan. Welcome to week 3 of our Healthy Horizons program. This week is Plan to Quit, Your Strategies for Success. So this week on the agenda, we're focusing on creating a personalized quit plan. We're going to focus on knowing your reasons for quitting, thinking about how you want to quit. You want to quit cold turkey, taper down, use some of the medications that we started to touch on last week. We're going to talk about setting a quit date, thinking about setting up our environment for success, so getting rid of tobacco or nicotine reminders. We talk about building on last week's triggers information, right? How can we better manage our stress, better manage our triggers? And we're going to also talk about building a support network. Who is going to help us support us through these tough times? And we know we're going to encounter some cravings and urges. So what can we do when we encounter those situations? Then again, we're going to leave you guys with some key takeaways, talk about our homework, and help answer any questions you guys may have. So let's get right into it. Starting off, we want to create a personalized quit plan. I really want to create a quit plan that fits your lifestyle, your routine, and one that truly works for you. Again, I think this is important, right? Personalized quit plan, right? What someone else did, maybe we can take some of those parts or some of that strategy, try to implement it. Maybe most of it works, but we want to tweak a few things. Right, again, what's going to work for you is super important here. So starting off with our little checklist. Week 1, you guys remember we talked about our reasons why we want to quit. Really want to write those down. What are your reasons for quitting? Health, money, grandkids, whatever it might be. Write those down because we're going to encounter those cravings, encounter those urges. It's going to help us through those tough times. Next, we're going to write down, how we're going to quit. Is it going to be more cold turkey, gradual withdrawal? Are we going to use some medications? Then we're going to talk about setting a quit date. What's a date that stands out in our minds that we can start to strive towards? We're also going to talk about getting rid of tobacco reminders, setting our environment up for success. Can we clean out our house, clean out our cars? Talk about managing stress, managing triggers, building a support network, and lastly, planning ahead to manage those cravings and urges. So starting off, I know we kind of did this in week 1, but write down your reasons for quitting. Keep them as a visible reminder to yourself why you're quitting, why you're trying to make these changes. Again, is it for our family? Is it for a healthier lifestyle? We want to improve our health. We want to improve health outcomes. You can save a ton of money and live a longer life. All right, so write down your reasons. Right, if think something like money is a good reason for us to quit, maybe we don't start tracking how much money we're saving by cutting back. Right, maybe we want to, if we're buying our tobacco nicotine products with cash, maybe we start to stack that in a jar. Maybe we start to just track that with an app, quit smoking app. Right, seeing how much money we're going to save could be a huge motivator. So again, what are your reasons for quitting? Starting off. Then we want to think about how do we want to quit? It's really important, right? Not only why do we want to quit, but what is our plan of action? This is where we're going to start to develop our plan. Lots of ways we can quit. Right? We can quit cold turkey. We can taper down. We can use medications. Maybe some sort of combination of all 3. Think about your personality. Think about past experiences. What might work for you at this time? Right? Cold turkey is just all about quitting all at once. This is without the nicotine replacement therapy or other medications. Right? Kind of pick a date and just say, I'm done. Again, this is going to be different for each and every one of us. But we can even taper down into kind of that cold turkey attempt. We don't have to do just one or the other. Or maybe I want to taper down for a few weeks, then quit cold turkey on a specific day. Maybe I just want to quit cold turkey as soon as possible. All right, with the taper down, we're just going to lower the number of tobacco products that we're using each day. Lots of different strategies with the taper down, right? Cold turkey is pretty straightforward. At this time, no more. Taper down, right? We could try to do, there's lots of different methods, right? Maybe we put like a specific number of cigarettes in a bag, and this is what I get for this week or today, right? Maybe today I only get 10. That's my goal for this week. Next week, I'm only putting 8 in a bag. That's what I get for the day. Week after that, I'm getting 6 in a bag. That's what I get for the day. I can just really control the number we're grabbing for the day. We could try to increase the time between each cigarette. That's one example as well, right? So instead of, maybe having one every hour, we try to have one every 2 hours and every 4 hours, right? Trying to lessen that number, in between each time we're grabbing our nicotine products. And then lastly, we can maybe potentially combine this with tapering down. We can use the nicotine replacement therapy options, the other non-nicotine prescription medications. Both of those can really help when we're trying to quit. While we're tapering down, we're going to experience some withdrawal symptoms. Things like the nicotine replacement therapy options can really help with that. And then the non-nicotine prescription medications really help on the mental side of things. They're going to decrease that, enjoyability, that pleasure we're getting from cigarettes. So that's going to help us taper down as well. So choose your way, right? What do you want to do? Cold turkey, taper down, or we're going to try and taper down, maybe even with the use of some medications. And so thinking a little bit further into the medications, right? Again, these nicotine replacement therapy options, safe and effective. The medications can help you quit, manage cravings, and help manage those withdrawal symptoms. How tough those can be. We talked about this back in week 1. The patches, put on our skin, or leave it on all day. The gum, nasal spray, inhaler, lozenges, really kind of more in the moment uses. Now, if we really want to work on the mental side of things like the Chantix and the Wellbutrin will really help us decrease on the mental side. Once we kind of know our strategy, then we can start to think about, when do we want to make this happen? What is our quit date? So step 3 is to set a quit date. Setting a quit date will really help us prepare to quit, kind of get ourselves mentally ready, focused on that specific day. I really want to encourage you guys with sooner rather than later, right? If it's too far away, it kind of gives us time to change our mind and makes it a bigger commitment. So if we can do it sooner, it's going to be better. Maybe we want to choose a date with a special meeting, like a birthday or anniversary or a holiday. Really like this one, right? The date of the Great American Smokeout, third Thursday in November each year. Maybe it is just a random date, random Monday, maybe the start of the next month. Right, whatever makes sense to you. Right, pick a date and let's stick to it. Right, let's write it on the calendar. Make a sticky note with our reasons why. Whatever might help us. Right, let's go ahead and set a quit date. So that way we can move on to the next step, which is preparing our environment for quitting. But we don't want to have our ashtrays, our lighters, anything else that's going to remind us or make it easier to reach for our tobacco nicotine products. We want to get rid of these reminders so we can stay on track, help ourselves, right? We're setting our environment up for success, making it easier on ourselves, less willpower, hopefully by making our environments better. So as we're approaching our quit date, we want to create a clean, safe space that feels like a new beginning. So can we clean out our house? Can we clean out our car? Can we get rid of the matches, the lighters, the ashtrays, make everything smell good? Can we wash all of our clothes, wash all of our linens, deep clean our house, deep clean our car, wherever we want to start with? Again, if we get rid of everything, again, we're making that hopefully a little bit less willpower. The other idea of like in the car, if we're trying to not smoke or use our tobacco products in the car, can I leave the cigarettes in the trunk, or can I leave my vape in the trunk, whatever it might be, to where I can't reach it while I'm driving. All right, so now we're setting our environment for success. Then we want to think about our triggers. Talk about that all about week 2. Talk about all the different triggers. How can we manage these situations? Stress is one of the number 1 triggers. So really encourage you guys to think about how you can manage stress. We can do things that can help take care of our minds by taking breaks from the news, take breaks from social media. Can we do some deep breathing exercises? We talked a lot about that last week. Maybe we just want to keep a journal our thoughts. Maybe we want to do a gratitude journal, right? What we're thankful for. Maybe we want to read some scripture. Maybe we want to do some other relaxing activities. Or maybe just connecting with others. Maybe we want to call a loved one, have some food with a loved one or a family member. Right, so take care of mind. Also want to take care of your body. Let's make sure we're getting enough sleep. Super important. A lot of us not getting enough sleep. Can we make sure to be active, move around, go for a walk, do some yard work, do some household chores? Can we make sure we're eating some healthy foods, some balanced meals, staying hydrated? Right, thinking about other pillars of health will help us manage stress. Right, if we're not sleeping well, not active, not eating well, drinking too much, stress is going to be harder to manage. Can we avoid using other drugs or other tobacco products? Again, just we also want to make sure we're visiting the doctor on an annual basis, making sure we're staying on top of our blood pressure, our blood glucose, other health metrics. All this will help us better manage our stress levels. The thing about the other triggers, we talked on each and every one of these last week with the pattern triggers. Right, these are really our automatic behaviors, things like in the car. Can we do something to keep our hands or our mouth busy? Can we be more physically active? What can we do to change up that routine? With emotional triggers, right? What can we better manage those emotions rather than reaching for a tobacco nicotine products, right? Can we talk to someone about our emotions? Can we practice some deep breathing exercises, other relaxation techniques? Can we be active? We attend a religious service, listen to some calming music. With the social triggers, I think they're the ones that we can truly avoid. We can avoid going to the bar or being around others that might smoke. Can we hang out with people that are not smoking? Can we find a quit buddy, do some stuff with them? And lastly, with the withdrawal triggers, where again, we just talked about the NRTs. If you think the NRTs are right for you, feel free to use that. If you're not using NRTs, right, remember that 4D strategy. Can we distract ourselves, allow that craving to pass, right, with deep breathing, delay, distract ourselves with something else for a few minutes? That's going to take our mind off that craving. Right, the last one was drink water, whatever it might be to kind of help get past that craving experience. Now, once we've got a plan for our triggers, then we can start to think about who is going to help us. Right, quitting tobacco is going to be so much easier when we have people that are support us. We got like a little team on our side, got a little support network. So let's make sure to connect with those that understand the challenge of quitting, that not going to belittle us or demean us, like, why haven't you quit already? Right, this is a really tough thing to do, right? So start sharing your decision to quit with others that, it's going to help you make your commitment feel more real, help you get the support you needed, really help identify who's going to be there to help you support, right? So let your friends, family, coworkers know about your decision to quit. So that way we can really get that support. Let's make a list of who's going to be on my support team. We can even take things a step further and maybe join a support group, an online forum, lots of other personal experiences, people sharing on social media or YouTube. Maybe you can see what other people have done, how they've quit. Maybe there's even specific online forums sharing how they've quit as well. Just getting some more ideas, right? Always make that a little bit better. Lastly, maybe we even talk to our doctor, our PCP. If we're trying to quit, maybe we're talking to them about the NRTs, how our experience is going. They're going to be on our side, certainly, as well. All right, and if you're successful, maybe we can share, what went well, what strategy you use if we're in that support group or those online forums as well. So don't forget about our 4D strategy. We know we're going to encounter some cravings and some urges. So let's use some of these tools we've talked about in the previous weeks. The 4D strategy, again, is going to be really effective for managing our cravings and urges. Right, that craving is going to increase in intensity. At about 3 to 5 minutes, it should start to decrease. So can we start off by doing some deep breathing? Can we delay? Can we delay using our tobacco and nicotine products for 5 to 10 minutes? Can we do something else? Can we get up and do some other activities that make us feel joyful and relaxed? Can we drink some water, right? We're occupying our hands, our mouths, giving ourselves something to do. So those are all of our tips for building a personalized quit plan, right? Why are you trying to quit? What is my quit strategy? Cold turkey, gradual withdrawal. Who's going to help us? How are we going to manage our triggers? How are we going to use some NRTs? You want to think about each and every one of these. Build your quit plan so we can have some success here. But just some key takeaways. Wrap things up today. Quitting is going to be more successful when you have a plan. Try to really create a career strategy so that way you can feel prepared and reduce any anxiety about quitting. We're gonna experience some cravings, but they are temporary. Use the 4D strategy. Hopefully those cravings will pass within a couple of minutes when we're intentionally managing them. We don't have to do this alone, right? We can get some social support. It's going to increase our success and provide some encouragement during those tough moments. Let's set a quit date so we can create that commitment, that focus to meet that goal. Choose a specific date so we can be truly intentional. And the more we prepare, more we plan, the more we create that personalized quit plan, we're going to build that confidence, right? Knowing how we're going to respond to these cravings, to these situations, these triggers, and make quitting feel so much more achievable. So make sure to complete the week 3 online homework. You got in the email link. Make sure to complete it before the next online class. And of course, let us know if you have any questions. Hope you guys have a wonderful day.